Started. Sorry about the late stream.
This is Mongolia, and we are not them.
I was at a friend's house who, they're just one of those people won't let you leave until they want you to leave. So, all right, well, some back testing on the euro. So I said that we're gonna back test starting at the beginning of September, just to kind of see what it's been doing recently. And then just see what we'll just go from there pretty much. Let's start it at the beginning of September. So for those of you who don't know what backtesting is, because I know there are a couple people, especially if you're newer. If you're newer, then you kind of shouldn't even know what backtesting is, really. You're so new to the game. But this basically can help you become a better trader quicker. I know whenever I first started trading, I would backtest all the time, and it made me feel like I had more knowledge, and just it gave me that experience because I did actually go through these charts and look and see what happened in the past. I played them already, so it gives you more experience. If you're a beginner trader, and if you're more of an advanced trader and you haven't backtested, you can start to see if what you're doing is really working or not. So instead of waiting on setups live or doing them on a demo account, you can go here and you can paper trade. So what I did was I pressed the replay tool or the replay button. And you do have to have the paid version of TradingView, or else you're going to have to do it on the daily, weekly, or monthly. But if you have the paid version, you should be able to use all these other time frames. And you press the replay button, and it brings this line on the chart. Let me just bring it back here, and it will bring this red line on the chart, and you can scroll back into the past where you want to go. And I said we're going to do September 1st, so let's start right here on September 1st, right before it. And this right here is pretty much the controller for this. So if you want to exit out, of course, you can press that. If you want to go back to the very beginning of the real time, you press that. This is going to go candle by candle. This is going to do a play, and you can have a speed for it. So if you press play, it'll just go through and play for you, and you can drop it to make it play really slow. So you can kind of talk through it and like walk it out candle by candle if you want to do it like that. And then this you can bring it back to where you want to go. So we're going to start right here. Okay. And then also, so we're not confused on like, oh, I could have taken this setup, I could have taken that. Oh, break here, retest, go, enter. No, we're going to look for certain setups and certain setups only. And these are the setups that I look for. And if you follow my channel, you should know this already, but we're looking for only 3 setups, and really only 2 that I'm really focusing in on, because those are the higher probability. We'll look at those 2 first. The first move is going to be the impulsive move. So if we see the market make an impulsive move like this, that's when we're going to bring out the fibs, and we're going to fib the move, and we're going to line it up with structure. So when price comes back down to retrace into this area, we're going to take a entry. We're going to look to take an entry off of the area that lines up with structure the best. So that's the first trade, and we're going to look to target it up here. So that's the first trade that we're looking at. The second trade is going to be very similar, but there's going to be a series of, let's say, equal lows in this case, and they're going to get swept out by a stop hunt. And then structure is going to get broken. When we see the stop hunt move, that's the clue to get ready to trade. So this would be like the stop hunt, taking out the lows and then making a quick move up. It's the same type of setup, but there was a stop hunt before, indicating that the liquidity to the downside has been taken and the market should make a move after it retraces. And when it comes back into this area where the stop hunt was made, when it comes back into that area, we're looking for a trade. So pretty much the same setup, but this one, we're looking to take it off the 78.6. This one, we're looking to line it up with structure, whichever one lines up the best. Now, I'm going to call this throughout the whole time. I'm just going to call this number 1, or I'm going to call it an impulse. And I'm going to call this number 2, or I'm going to call it a stop hunt setup. Okay. Now, the other one is the divergence setup that I look for. And I'll put that one right here. So the market will be making kind of 2 waves up, and then on this third wave, after kind of an extended move, so it'll really look like a channel, a rising channel or rising wedge. and we're looking to sell up here to the downside. The confirmation is 3 waves in the divergence or in the MACD. So divergence needs to happen as well as that. So those are the 3 setups we're looking for. Like I said, this is the impulse number 1. This is the stop hunt number 2. This is the divergence number 3. Okay. Now we got that out of the way. Let's see what we got going on. Now I know this is kind of recent, so some of y'all more advanced traders who already know what's going to happen. Like I said, it is only from September 1st, so just bear with us. I wanted to do the more recent price so we can kind of see how price has been moving recently versus something in like 2018 or something. I just wanted to get a look at how we're really been moving lately. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to start on the daily, and I'm going to look at my higher time frame to see where we are. So I'm going to make a zone up here. Well, really, let me back out a little bit more just in case. Okay, so it looks like this area got blown through up here. This area, pretty strong area right there. So I'm going to make this a higher time frame zone. And then I'm going to look a little bit closer into this. And we had a lot of rejection right here, so I'm going to extend this right. Let's see if there's an extend right. Perfect. Okay. And now we got some zones on a higher time frame to look at. We can go down to the, well, and another thing to note on the daily, there's a lot of divergence. So I'm kind of in my head thinking, okay, we're looking for sells possibly. This day right here already has rejection. Let's go to the 4-hour. Okay, so the market's making a move up on the 4-hour. The momentum is still a little diverged from these pushes up. Let's go to the 1-hour. And the 1-hour kind of has the divergent setup. So here's what I like to do. I like to bring out this. And so we got an impulse, 1, 2, 3. Already these 3 waves and we're still coming up. So I'm looking at this right here and we still have some divergence off of that. But this last push is interesting. So what I'm going to do here is mark off this zone. And I'm going to make it just a regular a zone, not a higher time frame zone. So the darker zones are going to be for our lower time frame. The lighter zones are these higher time frames. So how you want to look at these is when you are on a lower time frame and you see a higher time frame zone, you got to give it some room. It can get broken a little bit and then still respect as you just saw. Okay, or it can just barely come into it and then go, kind of like that. So higher time frame zones, you got to let them play a little bit, but the lower time frame zones, they should show better, cleaner rejection. Okay. So I see divergence right here. I don't necessarily want to just take the sell yet because we're breaking these highs, but I'm going to watch to see if we break down below here for a possible sell scenario like that. In my head, I think we could possibly come up to there, but let's see what happens. So we're going to play it out a little bit and we'll note the time that we're in. We're coming into London session right now. So we just entered London, 2 o'clock, and we're retesting that zone. Now, I know some of y'all are probably asking, why aren't you fibbing this impulse? And that's because there's divergence. So I'm not going to trade against the bearish divergence. That's one of my rules. So you can see we just had a possible stop hunt and a bearish candle. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down to the 15-minute and we're going to look at this. Okay, very nice. So what time is this? This is New York now. We came up here and consolidated during London, and during New York, we made a stop hunt and we started to move down. If we can break structure right here then I'm gonna look for a retracement drop. Okay, so we got the structure, break of structure, high volume on this stop hunt. So this candle gave high volume. I'm looking for a retracement drop. Let's see this next candle. Okay. So this little zone looks like it held, but we have a stop hunt move right here. So now we have to break it down into the 5. And any questions y'all have, go ahead and throw them in the chats. Let's see, let's bring this stop hunt move out. And I'm going to look for a sell at the 78.6. So that's where the liquidity was taken out right here by the stop hunt, and then price dropped and broke structure. So if it can come up into the 78.6, that will be a 16, almost 17 pip stop, targeting it down at the 61.8 extension. Let me see if this lines up with anything, and it lines up very well with all of this right here. So I like that. Okay. So how we're playing this, limit order, because of the stop hunt. And it's a 6-to-1, so you don't have to put a lot on this. Say we put 1%, we can make 6%. Okay, see if it'll get there. Oh, okay, well it looks like it came almost to the 50%, probably around the 38.2, and you can see it came right at this structure and didn't quite make it there. So that's okay. Don't have to get into every single setup, but the bias was correct. Downside did happen. We rolled over to this extension. At this point, I would look to extend the fib because on, let's say, an hour time frame, you can look at this and you can see how this move to the downside still hasn't necessarily retraced a whole lot yet. So let's see what this looks like. And now this, not only did this little baby move stop hunt, but now you can see how this bigger move was a stop hunt, and now we're dropping. So let's see how, if we can get a retracement. I'm gonna go to the 15-minute. I'm gonna delete this for now. I'm gonna delete that for now as well. Move this up a little bit. And let's see what happens. We're at about 12 o'clock on New York. Okay. So let's extend this, just keep extending it a little bit. And we're starting to get a little divergence coming up, only 2 waves. So we have a drop 1, 2. If we get another drop down into this area where I wanted price to pretty much come down into, then we might look for a possible buy. You can see this pattern starting to form. See what happens. Okay, came down into here, past this area that I wanted it to come into. So what time is it? It's London. We just had a possible stop hunt right here. So this area, pretty clean zone. Let me mark this off. Now the divergence is still there, but I wanted 3 waves of divergence, and now you can see how the momentum kind of just broke this little trend line to the downside. Let me see here. I'm going to bring out my divergence fib. So this is how I kind of judge where to get in on divergence. Let me, first of all, delete that. Let me bring this from this extended move. Let's go to divergence. So this to here. And we are a little bit past it. So I'm going to wait on the buy. I'm going to wait for it to do this. So looks like this might have been a little stop hunt move. So I'm going to wait for this to come up and break this, and then take a buy up into this zone. We'll see if it can do that. Sorry. All right. Nope, glad I waited. Okay. Now let's see if it can come up and still do that same thing. So I'm really glad I waited on that. The way that it came down into this zone, it didn't make me really want to look to buy off of it. So how fast it came down right there, even though there was a little divergence, the speed right there just didn't look good for a buy. Now we're in a higher time frame zone. Let's check out the the 1 hour. We're in this higher time frame, back in this zone, but that daily divergence really played out to the downside. Never got that retest that we wanted to bring this down here. It never has given a true retest yet. It's just dropped. 4 hour, we're coming back into this area. Let me see what this is looking like. Okay, we're right back in here. So I do think it has a possibility of a move to the upside, but the divergence really, it's there. It's not as clean as I want it to be. So I'm gonna hold off. I definitely see a retracement, but I'm waiting on certain parameters. Definitely waiting on certain parameters. So it's been a full day and a half pretty much. Had one trade set up, it missed the entry. Had another trade set up, but passed on it because it came too quick down to the divergence area. Waiting on another setup. So let's go to the 15-minute. Possible impulsive move to the upside would be ideal right now. Okay. Let's see. We kind of made a lower high right here and then a higher high right here on this move in a higher time frame. So let's, or higher time frame zone. So let's see here. One thing, now I know this is a higher time frame zone based off like a daily back in this area. So let me just clean this up a little bit tighter and then bring it down here. Okay. One thing I do like to note is these equal lows down here. I think those are probably going to end up getting hit. Another thing to note now is this move. I'm going to officially fib this 4 hour move. We have like a head and shoulders type situation coming up. Let's go back to the 15-minute. We are in New York session and not really anything going on. It's just kind of chopping its way to the downside. You could have played some break and retests. Could have maybe played some smaller 5-minute moves, but nothing really on the higher time frame on my setups. So we're going to keep going. Okay. I do see this right here. 1, 2, 3. And even though this wave isn't diverged, we do have this divergence right here. So what I want to do is bring out the divergence fib. And I want to look for a trade right here. So it lines up with structure. And what I did was I projected from 3 to 4 up to the 1618. Let's go to the 1 hour, see what that looks like. Okay. Right off the, where to go? Okay. 1 hour, right off the EMAs. I want it to pretty much extend a little bit and drop. So let's see. I know that there's definitely some room to the upside that I can come up to this extension or fib level. So let's see here. This is a divergence setup. And it missed it. So the 3-wave 1, 2, 3 played out and it dropped, but the divergence fib never got hit. There's 2 missed entries in about 4 days. That's okay. All right. The downside bias played out though again. Something to note, and that's what backtesting is all about. It's definitely not about being right or wrong. It's about observing the market, talking it out almost candle by candle, maybe session by session, depending on the type of trader you are, feeling out your strategy, kind of going back, looking at stuff and seeing what you could have caught, what you didn't catch. Like right here on this 1 hour, it made this move right here. 1, 2, 3 waves down. And from this extension, from 3 to 4, it came and hit the divergence fib and then moved up, and I missed it. But I was looking at a different time frame. I think I was looking at like the 15. So, right, let's see. We got a kind of an impulsive move here now. Let's see if we can get a, see what it looks like on the 1 hour first, if there's any divergence. Not a whole lot. I think it's going to start to come down to here. We didn't get the full extension that we wanted. Or retracement that we wanted. So, hold up. Definitely going to fib this now. So this quick move down, quick move up. I really wish it would have broken structure to the upside. This move right here, it didn't necessarily break the structure up, but it's very clean, impulsive move. Another way that I look at impulses to confirm them is if the MACD makes a new recent high. So the MACD is right here, and you can see if I extend this over, pretty much made new highs. So I like that. I'm looking for a move to the upside. If we can get the, on this one, we got to put it at the 78.6 because it's like a stop hunt move up. But I think it's just going to get to the 61. But we're going to stick with the rules right here. All right. Let me extend this out a little bit and extend this out. So I like how it is just slowly moving. I like that a lot. And I'll note that we came into a new week. So we had a Friday and now we're in a Monday. Okay. That was hit. Let's see what happens. I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all can hear my cats in the background. They're going crazy, my girlfriend's cats. All right, let's see what happens. We are hit it and move 10 pips profit. Stop loss is only 18, so when it gets 18 pips profit, definitely want to think about moving the stop to break even. Okay. So on that move, that would be about a 30 pip move to the upside. So stops would be at break even off the barely limit order entry. Spread would have definitely got us in, but man, it would have been close. So you got the move to the upside, you're in the trade, you have your stop at break even probably taking a little bit off the trade at that point. That's up to you. Okay, so would have been pretty much a break even, maybe a little profit on the trade off this one. That's cool. We got one winner or one break even, however you want to put it. I'm going to just put the maximum pips, and I'm going to put the stop loss amount. So off the 78.6, it went a maximum of 30 pips. So it was the setup number 2, and it went 30 pips, and there was a 18 pip stop. Was that right? 19 pip stop. So a little bit more than what you risked. I'm gonna delete this now, and let's continue. So I remember this when EU was kind of just chopping around over here for a while. Let's see what we got on the 1 hour. We still have divergence right here, so that's why that buy was risky. Let's see here, but there's definite stop hunt type scenario move. We got equal lows still down here waiting to get hit. Now we got more wicks down here, but a lot of wicks in a higher time frame zone with bullish divergence. Let's bring the divergence fib from here to here out. Divergence down here. Okay, so if the market comes into here, which would be a sweep of these lows, which would be a nice opportunity to buy, then I'm going to look for a possible buy right there. Here's another area where there's a lot of liquidity, so mark that too. Okay, here we go. I don't necessarily see anything right here yet. What time are we at? We're coming into New York. So let's see. We got some wicks with high volume. I'm waiting for it to come into this or this or impulse up. See, a lot of people would have bought that and they would have got murdered. Let's go 15 and look at it. See the double bottom? This double bottom was enticing people to buy, but this right here is what the market was coming for, these equal lows. So let's see if it takes it out or not. There's still divergence right here. So this is making lower lows, and this right here is not. And we have a lot of volume coming in on candles that aren't that big. So that's another thing. If you see a lot of volume on candles that are not humongous, that's usually a sign of reversal. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this as well. Okay. I'm also going to put this here. So to me, like I said, my divergence fib is down in this blue area, but it's almost looking really good for a buy right now. I'm not going to get it. I'm going to wait for my rules per back testing purposes. Okay. And what do you know? The next candle moves straight up. It's the volume analysis part of VPA, seeing the candle by candle volume and how when there is rising volume with not a lot of movement, that's kind of, it's called an anomaly. And it moved straight up about 23 pips quick. Now I'm not sure if it's going to continue, but we did get greater volume with a bigger candle. So it should continue. And if it does break these highs, it could be like a stop hunt setup. on a lower time frame. Let's see. That's not considered a break. It's just a little ugly. So what was this line? Oh yeah, okay, we came back into them. Very nice. And there's still divergence, as you can see. Still plenty of divergence. If it can come into the blue, we're definitely looking for the buy. Or an impulse up. What time is it? It's almost, it's Sydney session. That's what time it is. Right, a whole bunch of nothing. Let's see. Is there divergence still? Big time. Are we coming into London? Yep. We're coming into London. We're respecting this area. There's some, this is why I like this area too. There's imbalance right here in this candle. So I'm gonna mark it off. Let's go to 15 and see it. It's it's actually not that imbalanced. So I take that back. It's just a clean zone. Clean zone, okay. Let's go to the 1 hour and see if this is gonna make it down into the divergence area. So we definitely have the 3 waves right here. 1, 2, and I want it to come into this. Oh goodness. Well, I pressed this button instead of this button. It's okay. We got an impulse. That's another setup. So that's good. We have an impulse. It didn't quite make it all the way into the divergence fib, but you can see how the divergence played out after 3 waves. So let's look at what that looks like on like a 4 hour. Okay, interesting. Doesn't look as, there was definitely divergence on the 4 hour, but that just doesn't look as good as it does right here for this type of move. So what I was looking at is you can see how we definitely got a new break in the MACD, a new high right here. So I'm going to just kind of move this over, and we'll just go ahead and play that for now. And 15-minute, we're going to take this from low to high, and we're going to bring out the fibs for the number 1 setup for the impulse move. You can also look at this, if you want to, as a stop hunt move up. What you'll notice is a lot of impulsive moves have like equal lows right here, and then there'll be a little move down, and then a move up. This to me isn't a complete stop hunt type move. When I see a stop hunt, it's usually like at least that type of move and then to the upside. This was just a little sweep and then go. So I'm looking at this and I'm trying to line it up with structure to make sure that I get a good entry. So I'm putting this over here and it's in between the 61 and 71. I'm liking the 61.8 a lot. I'm liking this. So you see how it lines up here? All this rejection, we get this right here. So I'm liking the entry off the 61.8. I'm also gonna look at this here, where the volume of yesterday. Where was the volume of yesterday? So this price was where the most traded, or where the highest volume price was of yesterday. So about 10 pips away. That's okay, I can deal with that. If it doesn't, I want to get into the trade. And it lines up perfectly with structure. So we have about a 32 pip stop, and let's make this accurate. We got about a 32 pip stop for, let's see where the extension lines up. right above these equal highs. I like that. Okay. Now the 4 hour was looking kind of shaky. So this is a 15-minute setup. It did break this higher time frame zone, right, to the downside, but then it busted back up through it. So we'll see if this plays out or if that 4 hour was kind of telling us, hey, watch out. But it is kind of, you know, we've been waiting for that 1 hour divergence. It popped out, so let's see what happens. And by the way, I know I didn't explain it, but this is the 50 and this is the 200 EMA. So let's go candle by candle. We're on the 15 minutes. The way it moved, I like it. It came up and now it did make an impulse down a little bit. One candle, retrace, move. So it's kind of chopping down really nice. It's not just like slamming right down to the 61 really hard. Okay. So now that these have crossed, that's confirming a trend to the upside. Well, not like 100% confirmation, but that's what that is signaling. Move to the upside should happen. You can see the last time it crossed down right here, we had a pullback and then it dropped. So right now it's crossing, we get a pullback and we're looking to the upside. Now I know some people might be saying like, well, why don't you buy right now? The reason why I wouldn't buy right now is because the risk to reward, if I wanted it to be a 3-to-1, which I only take 3-to-1 or better, my stop loss would either have to be like, first of all, the take profit would have to be the 61.8 extension, which would mean my stop loss to make it a 3-to-1 would have to be at the 71. And I think the price could come back down to there easily. I could be wrong 100%. This could be a good setup. And I'm not saying it's not a good setup. It actually is a great setup. This one right here is. But for me, I'm a, what's the word? I like to find where the market is like the least probable to get to. And that's where I like to put my stop loss. I don't like to look for, can I make money? I like to look for how can I reduce my risk in a setup. So the way to reduce your risk in the setup is to be patient and wait for the 61.8 to get hit so you can still trade the 3-to-1 setup with your stop loss being below the swing low. So still waiting on this to play out. As I talk mess, it doesn't even get there. Funny how that happens, right? Okay. That's all right. We have a little bit of divergence coming in right here. So let's see if these equal lows end up getting hit before price. I'm not giving up on it, but you can see clear divergence right here. The momentum hasn't picked up at all. Price is just chugging along to the upside. So 1 hour is probably diverged as well, not near as much. But darn, I wanted to get into that. And it's okay. It only retraced to about the 38.2 maybe. You see that 50 did hold, but the risk to reward just wasn't necessarily there unless you wanted to risk your stop getting hit at my entry, which you would have been on. All right, let's see here. I'm going to bring this extension for the divergence. Okay, right here is, and it lines up with the point -27 extension as well. So right here, we can look for a shorting opportunity based off the divergence. There's only 2 waves, so 1, 2. So it would be really, you really want to wait for that 3rd wave, but trading 2 waves is okay as well. It's just more of a scalp. And it's just overall less probability, but let's play it just for the back testing. Another thing, like I just said, this type of divergence is more, not risky, but it is more of a scalp. So to try to get 3-to-1 on this setup is tough. It does line up with where I want price to come down to pretty much, the 61.8, 78 area. So, I mean, it does make sense. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a 20 pip stop so I can target a little bit lower because, like I said, it's kind of a scalp. Okay, so, and the reason why I'm targeting that area is because that's the extension of this retracement. Okay, right into the 61 area. Let me bring that over here. And I'll put that right there. I'll delete this because that fib didn't really work out. All right, let's see, what time are we in? Almost New York. So the divergence is setting up for New York. We're coming into this area. This is pretty much the area that I want to sell from. So I like this. Let's go to the 1 hour and just check that again one more time. Okay, it is breaking this a little bit. We'll see here. 15-minute divergence setup. All right, just same thing as I said not too long ago. High volume, not a lot of movement. I really wish that would have whipped this. It might not get there. Whoa. Well, that's an L. Faux show. 20 pip L. Quick L. So the number 3 risky setup. So 20 pip L. 20 pip stop loss. 60 pip TP. Okay. That made a move to the upside. Too bad it didn't retrace all the way to the 61. We would have been in that thing. Let's go to that. Yeah, it fully hit the TP too. That's all good. And that's why I usually wait for 3 waves of divergence to trade, but just back testing, so it's all good. Let's see. All right, now we got this break. Let's go to the 4 hour and see what that's looking like. Wow, okay. So we have a 4 hour fib still right here. So what I'm gonna do, just to keep myself reminded that this is like a sell zone area. But this momentum to the upside definitely is there. This was like a stop hunt drop. So let's see here. What time is it? Is New York session. MACD is growing still. Big candle with big volume. So we should continue to the upside. I'm not thinking that that's a stop hunt yet. But at the same time, I don't necessarily see a big setup. Man, that's big volume. All right, let's see what happens. So we got a little continuation. Let's see how much continuation that was. 44 pips. So when you see a huge volume candle, or a huge volume and a big candle, usually do get like a follow through. It's not necessarily like the best risk to reward or anything. It's just something to note. Now this came right into the 61.8 on the 4 hour and dropped. It dropped 43 pips right when it hit the 61.8 on the 4 hour. So I'm really looking at that 1 hour to 15-minute setups, but man, that smacked it and fell straight down. Let's look at that 1 hour again. Let's look at the 15-minute. So if we can get a better impulse down, we can look for a sell. But Looking for a buy might be a little risky now that we've already got 2 pushes, 1, 2, and we came into the sell zone. So it could do this. It's very risky. The daily though is probably showing 2 big bullish candles. Let me finish this day before I click the daily, or else it's going to show me what happens. Okay, so let's think about what happened. This was the previous day's high. This is the volume. We broke the highs. We're coming back into this zone. More than likely, it is going to make another move up. So let's go to the 5 minutes. Or I mean the 1 hour. Actually, let me see what the 5 minute does look like. Does that stop hunt look? Nah. Okay. Let's play this 5 minute. Okay. 1 hour. Definitely looks like a little stop hunt. Damn, that 4 hour fib was perfect. Okay. There's just nothing really to play off of, in my opinion, unless you want to take everything in the moon. No, I'm not looking to buy right here just because it's dropped a little weird to me. Came up and just dropped fast. If it would have had more of an angle like this to it, I would have sold it or looked to buy it, but it dropped like this. It didn't do this. Man, there's not that many. That was a good spot, but other than that, it's not that many good looking setups on the So let's keep going. See how it dropped hard? That break and retest, I wasn't feeling it. It didn't flag out nice. So now what I'm looking at is, I mean, shit, we got to move up here. We came back into it. I think we're going to do something like this. And looking for the price to come into that area. So let's go 15 minute, and we'll take this fib from here down, and this will be the new sell zone that I'm looking at. So let's not confuse anyone. I'm going to take these fibs off. This was that higher time frame fib. The 61.8 and the 78.6 is right here. The 71's in the middle. So now we're looking at a lower time frame sell zone right there. And you could really look at it like a stop hunt drop. You can see a lot of volume coming in right here as well. Let's play this a little slower. Okay. A little bit of rejection at the 50. Is it gonna make it up here? I do like the way it's going sideways. You see how it's not coming up like that? It's going sideways. All right. Well, isn't that some bullshit? Well, it happens. You've been not so cool. Let's see if it'll come back up. So now we got another new week. Didn't do much on EU this last week. Got like 1 trade in, 1 win, 1 loss. Still gonna play this if it gets there. So since we're into, since we're into a new week, I was gonna look at the price real quick, but let's pause this. Let's extend this out. Oh my goodness, my animals are going crazy. And we're in in the sell zone. It's looking kind of sideways still, so that's good. Let's see what happens after I look at these other time frames. So yeah, I'd like this definitely. It does look like a little harmonic as well right here. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it looks like a Gartley. Let's see if the Gartley plays out. The 78.6 would be the completion of the Gartley. But on this type of move, that's the stop hunt. So technically the 78.6 is the position. All right, let's talk about this first because a whole lot of stuff has happened. And management is part of trading too, not just like, oh, hit my spot. Okay. So first things first, the stop loss is 24 pips. And I was looking at this as a cipher pattern or a Gartley pattern. Gartley is when the market comes up to the 61.8, pretty much right here is where that was. And then it comes down and drops almost to the 78.6 pretty much, and then comes up to the 78.6 again. That's where we are right here. That's what I was looking at also. So that's one confirmation. Another confirmation was obviously we had these equal highs right here, and this right here looked like a stop hunt, and then we dropped down. So that was another confirmation. Another confirmation was this higher time frame fib zone from this swing high to this swing low. That's what I fibbed out, this bigger red zone. So it was just a whole bunch of confirmation to look for a sell after we got this bearish impulse out of the higher time frame zone. So when it came back into the 78.6, I mean, even off the 61.8 right here, it would have gave some pips. Let's see, only 17. But off the 78.6, what entry was, it dropped 20, almost 20 pips, came back up, dropped again. So my rule is whenever it gets to how much you've risked, that's when you want to move your stop loss to break even. And so it didn't go to that yet. Did it do it yet here? Yeah. Okay, so at this point now, not on this one, but on this one, it would be at break even. So break even, Stevens. Boom. All right, so we got a good dropout. By the way, this trade was a, I don't remember the risk. Let me bring this back up. Stop was here, above the high, 1 pip above the high pretty much, and TP is down here. So it's a 6-to-1 setup. In profit, and now the lows have been broken. And there's a new low in the MACD. So let me just write this down before I forget it. This was technically a number 2 setup, but it was also like a number 1 setup. I'm just going to put it the number 2 because we took it out the 78.6. So number 2, it was a 23 pip stop loss, 23 pip SL, and it's a 151 pip TP. And let's see how much we get out of it. And another thing, all the number 2 setups are pretty much 5 or 6 to 1s. All the number 1 setups are 3 to 1s, and then all the number 3 setups, they're like the most risky as they get. So, but they're still 3 to 1s. Okay, here we go. Another entry could be off of this right here. So that's something I'm gonna note. It's break even now. Okay, so as it fell down a little bit more, it created the divergence in the MACD, and it looks like it came right into the extension, divergence extension, almost. Yeah. So we're probably gonna see a move up here and then drop. I like the 61.8 for another sell. Okay, now the way that it came up there, I'm not a huge fan. Not a huge fan at all. So, honestly, I'm not going to get into the 61.8 right here. I'm going to wait for rejection. If I had a limit order there, then that would be me being greedy because I'm already in one setup. And I usually don't go ahead and do that. I usually wait to enter again if I'm getting into multiple trades on one pair. But let's see here. What am I seeing? What am I seeing? I'm seeing this right here, which is hidden divergence. So from this swing down to this swing here, this is coming up and that's coming down. 1 hour though, 1 hour's above that 50. And this slow line is still down. Okay. I'm liking the possible sell still. So let me wait for rejection. Well, that's rejection. If I can get a bearish candle, I'll sell it. Well, there you go. So that would be another added position to this swing. All right, very nice. So this position is still running, and you know, stops were at 24 pips. So at the time you got down here to 65, you definitely, I would have taken off profits. Let's see, at least half right here, because that's a 3 to 1. So you can take half off. I would personally take, you could take half off at 2 to 1. I wouldn't take half off at 1 to 1 yet. I would wait a little bit before you get past your 1 to 1. Break even at 1 to 1 is cool, but wait to take some money off maybe a little bit after 1 to 1, maybe at 2 to 1. But either way, at this point, this market went into 85 pips profit. Very cool. This drop, 35 stop. So stop is at break even and maybe even taking partials a little bit down here. It's lining up with this original first fib extension. So that would have been just some more confirmation to even take profits off. But either way, profit's profit. This is break even now. And why isn't this signal that is in the trade? Oh, okay. Let's go to the 1 hour, see what we saw again, right? We hit this, we corrected A, B, C. One more, pushed up, stop hunt, dropped. I think we took an L somewhere within there. Maybe it was right here, somewhere on this push up. We took an L, but now we're in 2 pretty good W's. At this point, I'm not going to get into another sell because there's a little bit of divergence right here. We've already kind of hit these extensions. So let's see if these trades can run down or not. Oh, I don't know why I targeted that. It was only supposed to go over here. Oh well. Wait. I don't even think this was supposed to go down there. Oh well, we're good. We're good. Oh, big boy. What session? End of New York session. Okay. At like 1 o'clock it did that. Almost stopped out, but all good. And it would have fell into the TPs pretty much. Let's see if it gets there. Ooh, yeah. All right. Perfect. So how long did this really take? From here, let's see, the entry was off of 78, so right there. Literally like 5 pips drawdown. And then to end the full, oh, I guess the full extension was down there off this one, but I think the first trade was this one right here. No, this one was the second one. Okay, I was right. So this does come down to 76 down here. We're almost there. Let's get there. All right, perfect. All right, and then this one is coming down to this extension. Perfect. Okay, so the first trade after it hit the 78.6, let me bring it over here. Does it tell me? No, it just tells me the target got smashed all the way. So the 6-1 got hit fully. Probably only half of it would have really gotten hit because half would have got taken off. And it only took 2 days. Only took. That's so long. But I mean, hey, you would have had most of your profit off, or not most, half or whatever. You would have taken a good amount off right here, and then break even was way up there. You could have just like let it ride out and traded everything else. Same exact thing with this one. The second it came up into here, I was saying wait for the drop though. I said wait for the rejection, right? The rejection was there. It brought some high volume on this rejection. Did it? Was that the one I was looking at? No, it didn't. But the way it came up, that's why I said wait for it. It hit the fibs and then it dropped. I entered right here off of this candle and a little bit of drawdown, and then boom, straight profit. Take some profit off the table right here, move your stop loss to break even, let the rest ride the TP. This trade took, let's see, after this candle to TP, it took a full 13 hours. So basically 2 sessions. Not bad. All right, so we can get rid of these. Actually, did I write down the second one? I don't think I wrote down the second one. So this was this one was the stop loss was 20 pips. It was the number 1 setup because it was just an impulse. 20 pip stop for 80 pip TP. And the 80 pip TP got hit. And on this one, the 151 TP got hit on that. So far, we've taken 4 trades. We're minus 20 pips. So 20 pips stop loss got hit. And then the first trade, or one of the first trades only went around 30 pips and then it went to break even. So technically we're up a lot of pips right now. Okay. And percent. If we're talking percent, we're up. I mean, this one was a 6%, this one was a 4%. So we might be up around 5 to 10% depending on how we're taking our profits. So let's see, what day are we in? We're in September 17th. So we're about a little over 2 weeks into the month. Let's go to the daily and see what this is looking like. Oh, I think I gave it away. Let's go back to the 4-hour. Yeah, I gave it away. Darn it. I didn't mean to do that. Well, the daily is already showing that this is rejecting. So I kind of gave that away. The reason why I stopped right here though was because all our extensions got hit and everything. So I wanted to slow down and see everything. I didn't know the daily was going to show the rejection. I don't know if anyone else saw that, but here's the area. Remember this area from the divergence? That's not really there anymore. The divergence was played out already. So let me just kind of clean up some stuff so we can see where we are. These equal lows obviously are getting targeted right now, getting swept out. Let's see if these get hit. Let's go to the 1 hour. And like I said, at this point, it's already extended out. I'm not looking to buy it, especially when equal lows are getting swept out. What we want to see is a stop hunt type move. So let's go to the 15-minute and see if we can see like a quick move to the upside. And I'm going to go ahead and do away with this higher time frame zone just because it's just messing all the way all through it. So let's just play these lower time frames knowing we're in a higher time frame area. Okay. So what time is it? It is almost the new day. And that's not a stop hunt in my opinion. Now that is more of a stop hunt type move. So you see how the lows were taken and then we made this big move. So I'll definitely be looking for possible upside now. It's still very sketchy for the upside, I'm not gonna lie. Especially how hard we fell down. But it's the setup. So we got the sweep out of the lows and the move up. Let's go to 15-minute. Let's fib from here to here. And we'll take it at the 78.6. Okay. Is it a 6-to-1? It is a 6-to-1. All right, very nice. Let's go. Okay, let me move these up a little bit. Little divergence coming in. What time is it? 11. So we came into the zone. We got divergence. Is it gonna fall? Nope. Glad we didn't sell the divergence. All right, so at this point, it just kind of made this move up after sweeping out these lows and it never really retraced. Okay, so now we got a retracement. What I gotta do is I gotta adjust these fibs though to make it line up with this full extension. And let's see. The way that it just got to these fibs right now, it's really tough to want to buy it. Let me go to the 1 hour, and especially just how the market's been kind of making this impulse down, up. We made a move down, we came back up, and we just dropped pretty hard right here. I mean, the setup calls for a, based off of these lows getting swept out right here, by this, it calls for a buy at the 78.6. But when the market slams down right there, man, it makes this a lot more risky looking. Oof. So that happened in London. We're here almost in New York now. And that is like an impulse down. Did it break the lows? I mean, it did pretty much. So this is a good, I'm glad I'm looking at this. This is a good scenario where you see a setup one way and then you see it set up the other way. It's pretty risky. Okay. We're in there. We get a big volume candle with not a lot of movement. Let's see what happens. Ooh, stopped out on that. Boom. That was a 30 pip stop for a 190 pip. So two setup. It was a 30 pip stop for a 190 pip. Okay. Let's see what happened. So like I said, the way that it came down, I didn't like it. So in real life, of course, what you do in those situations, if you have like a limit order or if you're like playing it and you're like, no, I'm going to take it no matter what, you just reduce your risk and just take half your lot size off before it gets there, right? All right, take this one off. And the best thing about all of these setups is you literally can lose so many setups and be on top still. So let's just talk about how many setups we've taken. We've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setups, okay? 2 of them have been losses, and total, it was 50 pips loss. Or you can look at it as 1%. Per loss. So you can either be negative 50 pips or negative 2%. Okay, then we had a winner that was a maximum of 30 pips. The stop loss was 19. So you could have got a full 1% out of that, or you could have taken 30 pips off of that 50 pips. So however you want to look at it, regardless, we have 2 other winners right here that one of them was 6-1, so it would have gave you 6%, and the other one was 4-1, so it would have gave you 4%. It went 80 pips and then 151 pips. So total, we've got, let's see here, 90 plus 51 is 1. Let's see. My math is off. It's a little late right now. I think we're at 240 positive and negative 50. All right. Percent wise, we're at about 10, about 9%. All right. And we're about an hour and 20 minutes in. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording at least. So no one's trying to watch that long of a recording, I'll tell you that much. And